Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I hope you are all doing very well today, wherever you are in the world. So I will be planning to discuss on a live stream on Saturday, January 25th, 2020. Once again, Saturday, January 25th, 2020 at 11 p.m. Tokyo time. 11 p.m. Tokyo time. I will be discussing this film, which is Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla from 1974. Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla from 1974. So once again, this is scheduled for discussion on a live stream on Saturday, January 25th at 11 p.m. Tokyo time. So that might be a different time for you depending on where you are in the world. So I kindly ask that you just check the time zone calculator, world clock, whatever is at your disposal to check what time and date it is for you when I will be doing the live stream. So once again, it's for me Tokyo time because I'm living in Tokyo. I can't necessarily give all the times of all the time zones in the year, unfortunately. That's a little bit too difficult for me. But if it's okay for you, please just check on your end what time that is for you, and hopefully I can see you there. And if for whatever reason you are unable to attend the live stream, then that's okay, of course, because it'll all be uploaded as a video after it's finished, and so you can take a look at that at your own pace and leisure, of course. But for purposes of this discussion, what I'd like to do is I'd just like to mention a few preliminary items with respect to how I generally intend to conduct the discussion on my end during the live stream with respect to this film. Now, of course, during the live stream, I will plan to interact with those who are in attendance in the live chat, and I'll try to answer as many questions or address as many comments as I can as they appear in that live chat. I'm not an expert in this film necessarily. I don't consider myself to be a great historian in any respect with respect to this film or any of the Showa-era Godzilla films for that matter. So my knowledge is very limited, and I come at this film as a fan, an admirer, and one who has seen the Godzilla films, and in particular this film, many times since I was very young. So I have a great fondness for this film, and I love it very dearly. And it's from that vantage point that I will try to address as many of the comments and questions that emerge in the live chat to the best of my ability. Again, I will do my very best. It might not be good enough, but I will certainly try. But as far as my general trajectory of discussion goes, I think what I will plan to do is I will try to talk about this film and how I see it, and how the Godzilla films in the series, and I think throughout the history of Godzilla films, even from the first film, tend to be sort of arranged in terms of its narrative. There seems always to be two strands of narrative, almost parallel structure, and they seem to be interconnected through some machinations or some kind of narrative threads that are woven along the way. But they are generally speaking, two parallel threads or two parallel storylines, so to speak, that are still interconnected, but there's basically two. That is the quote-unquote human storyline on the one hand, and then the quote-unquote monster or kaiju storyline on the other. And then there's a way in which these either converge or diverge, and then converge to create the narrative thrust that becomes that particular film. And so what I would like to do is I'd like to talk about those two plot strands as they develop through the film. So there is the quote-unquote human story, that is the story that involves the human characters. I say human. There are some alien species that are involved in this film as well, but that I'll include that part of the story in the quote-unquote human storyline. So there is the human storyline that has certain bits of intrigue and mystery, especially tied to Okinawa and this part of Japan and archaeology, and how this figures into a kind of maybe traditional, almost mysticism on the one hand, fused with a very direct and I think quite fascinating take on the science fiction genre. And that's developed in the human story. And then there is the monster or kaiju storyline that involves the monsters here, which are, I think we can tell from the title, Godzilla and Mechagodzilla, and what their relationship is, how their relationship or how their antagonism is sort of set up, how many times they fight, etc. Are there other monsters involved, and what's the dynamic between or among the monsters and the like? What are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, what kind of strategy do they employ? And believe me, this isn't necessarily a kind of brawl or free-for-all, I will suggest during the live stream, but I think there is in fact some strategy that is being employed by all the monsters concerned here. And it's just a matter of how well they employ the strategy and a combination of, let's say, strategic intelligence, luck, and also sheer strength of will and fortitude. A combination of those elements that create this wonderful dynamic tension during the combat scenes between the monsters, the Kaiju Battle. So this is the general trajectory that I plan to take the discussion in, and I'll try to bring in as many details as I've picked up along the way about production and the like. But again, I don't come at this as a historian or as someone who's directly related to the production or Toho or anything like that, but I just come at this as a very casual fan, but a really I'm a great admirer of this work, and I have been for many years since I was a little child. So, and then if there's time, I'd like to talk about the other aspects of this film that make it, I think, very effective. The way that music is employed, the special effects that are employed, the kind of the way in which the mystery elements are unraveled layer by layer by layer. The way in which we have characters in the human side of the plot, as it were, what their relationships are, how those relationships develop or not develop, as the case may be, how this film therefore figures into the context of the Showa era Godzilla films, at least as far as I consider it, how this film is consistent with what we might have seen before, how this film is also maybe taking different turns and forging its own path, being different from the films that have come before. So that sort of thing. Now, I should be very clear for anyone who's interested. You need not necessarily have seen all of the Godzilla films prior to this film. You don't have to have seen all the other Godzilla films in order to be able to watch this and appreciate this and enjoy this. Of course, it might help, don't get me wrong, but it's not necessarily a must in terms of a prerequisite before watching this film. And the same goes, of course, for the live stream. I will not necessarily be mentioning specific details or spoilers from other films, so please don't worry about that. I will be very careful about that. I will just be as very general and as broad and vague as possible whenever I refer to another Godzilla film. But please don't worry, I won't necessarily be mentioning specifics of other films when I talk about this during the live stream. So don't worry about that. I will just try to be as vague as possible when I speak of that. One other thing I should mention is that anyone who is unable to attend the live stream, that is perfectly okay. I think that is that's not a problem at all. I understand people can be busy, and so there's that. However, if you want to participate, even though you won't be able to attend in the live stream, if you have any comments or thoughts on the film Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, and you want them to be shared with others, what I will try to do is, if you leave comments on this particular video before the live stream, and if I'm able to catch them in time, then I will try to read as many of the comments that appear at the bottom of this video. I will try to read them, if the relevant ones anyway. I'll try to read those to the extent that they they help to facilitate the conversation in the live stream, and I can share them with the group during the live chat. And so hopefully that might give you, the viewers and friends who aren't able to attend live, that hopefully might still give you the opportunity to participate still, if you know what I mean. So if you want to leave comments down below with the understanding that they might be read aloud by me during the live stream, please feel free to do so. Of course, I might have to use my editorial discretion, of course, to see which ones are as long as they're relevant to the film, if you know what I mean. But I'd be more than happy to share those comments if you don't mind. So it might help to yet again foster a bigger sense, or not a bigger sense, but hopefully a sense of being in attendance in the live stream, even though you aren't able to attend because of your schedule or other reasons. So if you want to leave a comment with the understanding that it might be read during the live stream next week, please let me know, and I will just leave the comment down below, and I will certainly do my best to share it with everyone. Again, with respect to this film, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla from 1974, with respect to the live stream, which again will take place on Saturday, January 25th, 2020. Saturday, January 25th, 2020 at 11 p.m. Tokyo time. Okay, my friends, so that's it for now, and until we meet again, please be happy and healthy and well, and please keep on watching a lot of great movies. So until we meet again, my friends, cheers.